31-year-old Sheku Bayoh, the so-called George Floyd of Scotland. I hate that phrase. Died whilst being detained by Police Scotland in Nicole in 2015, has been the centre of an inquest throughout May. You may remember me speaking about how the police were allegedly called to an incident of Sheku in an angry state with a knife, but when police arrived there was no knife in Sheku's possession. You might remember me talking about PC Craig Walker, who said Sheku walked towards him with a 1,000-yard stare, and how incapacitant spray had no effect on Sheku, and that he formed the opinion that Sheku was physically capable of causing serious injury to someone and was clearly in some sort of rage or zombie state. You might even recall me talking about how ex-PC Nicola Short, the 5'1" police powerhouse, who said she felt fearful and scared, and that when Sheku walked towards her, she said she instinctively ran away before feeling a blow to the back of her head. Failing, from my observations, to mention being stamped on by Sheku, although PC Walker says he saw Sheku raise his foot, and PC Ashley Tomlinson told the inquiry that Sheku had punched Nicola Short and then stomped on her back once she hit the ground. Surprise, surprise. A witness who took the stand last week, a man who watched the incident unfold through his window, told the inquiry that he did not think it possible for Sheku to have stamped on ex-PC Short as the police described. Kevin Nelson, who watched from his home opposite where police detained Sheku, was asked by Angela Graham QC, "Is it possible when his arms were raised that you saw him with his arms raised that he was stamping on the female officer?" Nelson replied, "I don't think it's possible, no." He added, "She was down and had moved away from him. As soon as she was going down, that's when he changed course." Short, in some sort of attempt to cover her arse by the sounds of it, previously told the inquiry that she was told Sheku had stamped on her head by colleagues in the police canteen following the incident. Which, of course, after an incident where somebody's died, the police should not be talking or conferring with each other. Nelson, who said he then moved outside to watch the arrest from his gate, said he saw Mr. Bayoh walking the way anyone would walk in a morning with bad weather. Mr. Bayoh was walking at a pretty brisk pace, arms moving, not a swagger or a mission. He said he witnessed the pava spray being deployed, at which point Sheku changed direction and started throwing punches. Nelson described how Bayoh approached the police. It was just wild swinging, both arms were going. It didn't look like, I'm not a boxing expert, but it didn't look in any controlled way. He told Angela Graham QC that he saw PC Short being hit and her starting to fall down. He then stopped swinging and looked like he was trying to get away. Then the policeman just grabbed him. Almost tackled him, he said. What looked like a pile of bodies on the ground, like a collapsed scrum at the rugby. He said he presumed Bayoh was under them all, stating it looked like 3 or 4 officers on top of him. He said he believed Bayoh must have been face down because of the angle of his legs. PC Kaylee Good, a new full-time cop after serving as a special, arrived on scene moments later with her mentor. PC Good said in her statement that it was rare that an emergency button was pressed, and because of the nature of the call, she made the conclusion that PC Short may have been stabbed. I was also thinking at the point of the Lee Rigby incident in London, mainly due to the fact of the coloured male and the potential for terrorist connotations. When asked about the language used, she told the inquiry, "First of all, I wanted to say that when I said coloured, I said that in error. I never meant to cause offence. I've just said the wrong word. I was obviously very young in service. I've not meant to cause offence with it. I have just been describing the male. I know that's not the acceptable word to use." She added, "I think back, then I was trying to be polite. I didn't want to say the wrong thing, and I've obviously made a mistake and used the incorrect term." PC Good told the jury that there were no racist jokes or comments in the police station from either her or her colleagues, and if there had been, she would have challenged them. Well, I call bullshit. There's plenty there that makes me think about the whole situation, but let's be honest. These are police who have just killed someone after allegedly being attacked by a coloured man who was supposed to have had a knife, who supposedly stomped on a teeny tiny female copper who wouldn't go down when sprayed with pava spray. I bet my bollocks that there was some additional colourful language used in the canteen about Sheku. Whether it was of a racist tone or not, I guess we'll never know, but there is no way they just sat down and spoke about how the vending machines were out of order. I'm looking forward to where this is going. It seems quite interesting with this new revelation of a witness suggesting that Sheku did not stamp on the PC, whereas the police say that he did.